Hey, happy day. So, uh, again, highly amused. Um, so, I'm quite aware that the energies we're experiencing have to do with healing father wounds and uh, to a degree where we are dealing with patriarchal, generational wounds, where men have perpetrated evils against women in particular. So these are coming to the surface, and as we are declaring our truth about the depravity we have experienced, um, uh, we're finding that men are quite triggered by having to own their truth and not very the masculine in ourselves and in the external collective expression of that. There is this reluctance to own our truth, to loving forgiveness, which takes an apology, which takes an I'm sorry. And really, it's not about saying I'm sorry, but it's about recognizing and owning where our actions or lack of action has negatively impacted those we have professed to love and who have professed to love us back. And what I realized, which I was going to get to, but perhaps now is the time. Um, so I will actually mention it now and then go back to it in detail later. So there's this concept of antagonists. And what's quite interesting is in order to learn, we need to bless those around us who trigger us. And can we change the word being triggered into being shifted? It's a lot more positive. Being triggered seems a very victim mentality, whereas being shifted is our ability to look at the lesson and see the blessing in that lesson. And so when we deal with antagonists, often if you think about it, if you really stop to think about it, which I have been contemplating a lot on, is often the nicest people in our lives, the, those that seem the sweetest, and we respond well to them, we love their energy, but yet somehow we always feel unfulfilled, or there's something about the relationship that doesn't work. And what I realize is they are the antagonists. If we don't learn much from people that we wouldn't engage with, that we don't like, we wouldn't learn anything from them because we wouldn't be engaging with them. Our lessons from them are not that deep. The people we really learn lessons from are those that we let into our innermost self and expose ourselves to and use as a reflection for our most authentic self. And those are the um, lessons that are hurt the most, are the most painful, that cause us great grief and sadness and shame and guilt, because we can't understand how people present. Are we reading them wrong? What's going on here? But excuse me, remember that we are learning lessons, so they will help us be shifting in ways that we don't always understand at the time why we're responding or feeling or experiencing that. The lesson, we're in the process of experiencing it, so we haven't had time to integrate yet. We haven't processed and integrated. We're busy with the downloads in that time. It's not time to sort the files out, it's just getting the experience. So one of the things that I want to say that gives me hope in life is the constant synchronicities and synchronizations and the synergy that I experience. So I'll think of someone, I'll think of Debs, and I'll think about, oh, I need to get more cacao from her. I want to make more chocks. And I go for my daily walk down to the beach, and who do I bump into at the kiosk but Debs? And instead of having to message her today, I get to speak to her. And that's really wonderful. And that happens time and time again. And so the numbers that I see constantly the last couple of days, every hour it's been 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 06, 06, 07, 07, 08, 08, 11, 11, 11, 11, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and fours, lots of fours. So yesterday I did a video on who the fuck you are. Or we're having to remember using our compass points of who the fuck we are and what is it that we truly desire and want. And I had a moan about how unkind I found people to be generally, and the lesson I was sent energetically was after that video, about an hour after, someone offered to help me with one of the most difficult challenges I have, which is getting my 20 liters of water refilled. The closest one is 2 kilometers up a hill, which I don't mind walking to, but walking back down 2 kilometers with 20 liters of water is a big ask. So that was a beautiful slap on the wrist about don't get stuck in the negative energy, and remember that beautiful blessings are happening all around you. And one of the things I realized as a consciousness coach and a spiritual gypsy is that I naturally will attract people who need more, who need people like me who give unconditionally and selflessly, because we do. And so we will always be the gift of giving for them. And what I discovered in that is that often the people who are most present to us are often the most overlooked. We often neglect them the most. The people who care for us the most, take parents, for example, husbands, wives, children with, it's very, very sad that people only feel good when they're doing good much further away from their immediate environment. And, we really need to consider doing more random acts of kindness and being more considerate and considering others. Most people find it very difficult to ask for help, and we learn to do it, and some are very good at doing it, but they're often the takers and they give very little back. It's very hard for the gift of giving kind of person to just take without being offered, and also to ask for what we want, because we already feel we are given our share, and if we were to have more, then we would have more. And so it's really not a reflection. I don't live in abundance for being fucked over and taken advantage of, and having given my time, I haven't lost anything. I've gained a lot. And because I live in a state of abundance, not a state of lack. Everything I need and even want and desire is always readily available to me. What I experience a lack of is what's reflected back around me. And I look at, so talking about that, I haven't lost anything in the state of abundance. We have to review our wins and losses and from the past, and going forward, what are the risks and rewards. So the high priestess, it's number 2, and it was the 2 twos that came out of the 3 cards today. And the high priestess talks to us about, I have the answers I seek, and by following truth I will find them. And it reminds me to remind you that the answer is in the question, and the solutions you seek, the answers are already there. The answers that you're seeking are already there. And sometimes I've got this constant little nagging voice in my head saying, it's about, I don't want to say asking for too much, but it's like too much too soon, everything in good time. Again, it fits in with the cycles. And, sometimes the answers are then, everything is already solved. It's just not right now, because there's other stuff going on right now. But what you want is happening, as long as you are taking the necessary actions with the correct mental attitude. So there's also this, we're getting, like yesterday, we can get stuck in this analysis paralysis, and it's like, I don't know what to make of this situation, this person, these people, this place, this time, these things happening, the experience. And so what I heard was, don't make anything of it. Let it be. You don't have to engage in it. It is what it is. It's no thing. It's irrelevant, meaning no relevance. So don't make it that by adding energy to it, because energy is like adding wood. It's a fuel source. It is a fuel. It's an energy source. So, or an energy currency, vibrations. So this card came up again. So you see, we need to be in this state. But let me just read something, because something funny happened. This high priestess. So what the book says about it is, the high priestess sits on the edge of this realm and the next, as she draws down meaning and illumination from beyond the veil. I love mushrooms do that, help us see through the veils of illusion, lift the veils of illusion. Sacred insights and profound wisdom are flowing to you now, and to access them, you must tune into your tuition and submerge your thoughts into her subconscious realm. The language of the unconscious mind is revealing itself to you now, through metaphor in dreams, or as ancient memories that resurface to be processed. Pay attention to synchronicity, and I told you that's the thing that certainly keeps me stable, because if I feel crazy, then the synchronicities and the synergies always normalize my attitude. Any nagging feelings of being off track, as well as gut feelings that move you in a new direction at this time. The divine whispers that you are emanating from your soul hold an important message for you, and the bridge between the enigmatic realm of the priestess and your conscious understanding of the signs will be found through your own quiet introspection, which is what the Four of Swords speaks to us about. And what I noticed in this card is there are no actual swords. There are, I don't know if they are twigs or thorns. At first I thought they were feathers. So I would like to just read to you from this card. The Four of Swords, a time of deep rest, transmutation of shadow, healing from burnout. And yesterday I started working on an adrenal burnout info sheet. Taking a brief holiday from your reality, renewal, self-love. I give myself permission to slow down and heal. And that I wrote that down here. It's time to deal and heal. This deep resting period in your life marks a moment of intentional healing and self-care. More than just integral to your wellness, it is integral to your being at this time, body, mind, and spirit. How you heal, can you hear the kingfisher in the background? How you heal is your choice, and you can find quiet regeneration through sleep or other restorative practices like meditation, journaling, energy healing, which I offer, by the way, metaphysical healing, etc. Consciously decide to slow down and process before sprinting ahead, and things will pick up. By March next year, we will find ourselves in our new landscapes, but when things do move, we need to be ready to move with them. So it's time to do all the prep work. The hustle can be tumultuous and demanding, and the only person who can really direct your own radical recovery is you. Tend to your wounds, and I spoke about that yesterday, how boils were bursting open and interesting pimples coming to a head, lancing the boils. Your nest will grow around you as you sleep. 4 is about safety, security, and foundations, essentially. And the landscape of your life will shift beautifully. And like I said, perhaps we use the word shifted rather than triggered. So every time we feel in the old sense triggered, we can rather consider ourselves shifted by the behaviors that we are responding to and how we are, yes, responding and reacting to our external environment. In your dream state, you will transmute and transform your experiences and emerge renewed, whole, and ready to rise like the phoenix from the flames. But first, you must rest. Sweet dreams, sweet chickadee. So, fixed income. 2 talks about balance or coming together, falling into place of a wish or desire. Action, like I said, brings about the fulfillment of wishes. What can we do? Even when we think we've done everything, there is always more we can do. We are more self-sustainable and self-reliable than we even believe. And today someone said to me, I was telling her about what my plans were, and she turned to her husband and she said, oh, look, you see, some women can do everything for themselves, you know, so you're so brave, and it's not. It's when you don't have anyone to rely on. I don't have parents. I don't have siblings. I'm not sure who else to rely on. I have friends, but they have lives, so they're only vaguely available. What do? You have to get on with stuff. That's just like how it is. So it's about like fixed income. You are the one fixed thing in your life that you can rely on, and that can step up and shouldn't reject, neglect, abandon. And it says, he who knows when he has got enough is rich, by Lao Tzu. And the money suit talks to us about wealth and sustenance and how we choose to exercise power. Money suit represents the fruit of your labor, and we've been talking about that yesterday, about looking back and reviewing at how far we've come and what we've accomplished. And also there's a deep sense of remembering gratitude and grace and humility when we look back at what we have achieved and accomplished, and with loving forgiveness and acceptance what we haven't and where we failed. So money represents fruit of your labor and calls into question your attitude to wealth. The means by which you acquire it and the way that you use it reflects your values, so you can give or take. Taking is a negative feedback cycle. Giving is a positive feedback cycle. A lack of money is closely related to where and how you invest time and energy. Focusing on what you really want to do or are prepared to do to create wealth may resolve the conflict of not having enough, and will enable you to place emphasis on doing the right things to acquire it. It's about how you exercise power in relation to others. It highlights the power dynamic present in the relationship. And when you're in relationships of lots of gimme, gimme, takey, takey, and not very much mutual return, beneficial giving back, people don't expect it, but it does. You do run out of credits eventually, because it doesn't feel good for the giver to always be generous, and it feels like it's just seed scatter on a field that doesn't germinate, and there's no point in putting effort into things that don't bring any form of return on investment. Giving, the first thing in giving is giving for this joy of giving, for not expecting anything to income back. But so again, you are the fixed income. Your Taurus energy is, but if you have things around you that are taking and it's depleting, then we need to shut that down and rather reinvest in ourselves or in others who are able to infinitely, number 8, return back to us what is not even deserving, but what is due, just because we If we can't see how others have the same needs as us, same basic needs, then there's something elementally wrong with you if you're only concerned with taking care of yourself, because you certainly don't grow all your own food, make all your own clothes, produce all the things that you need in your everyday life. Many of you don't even clean up after yourselves in any form. So you create a lot of rubbish, a lot of waste, and are heavy consumers and have no consideration for the processes, the people involved who are producing those things. You don't care that their quality of life is shit, and I don't care how nice you are in your everyday life and how much good you think you do. If you can't be bothered to think about how you have all the stuff you have, how you got it off the blood, sweat and tears of others, and you're not willing to give back, then there's something elementally wrong. It just, to me, it feels, it just doesn't feel right. I don't see how we can be okay with knowing that there are people suffering because of our wanting, needy, greedy habits, and especially when it's so superficial and meaningless. So I'm going to end with a poem I wrote that perhaps explains that energy. I found myself in a barren landscape, abandoned, rejected, neglected, looking for brothers and sisters in arms, in places filled with false faces and fake charms. Kindness came from unexpected places and those who dared. Gold versus gold-plated, because only the devil may care. There was so much to share, but they don't know how, because, holy cow, it's all about the show. And taking a bow, wow, wow. Like fighting dogs and angry hogs, this place is a fucking bog. But time served and lessons learned, I take with me only blessings deserved. Leave things better than you found them. At my center, driving force. Through love evolved and resolved on a new course of action. It should be told the past has no more hold, only as a guide for how to always escape and rescape. Because a new shape is it's elementally sacred geometry. And that's enough about me, Nikki B. Namaste. In the Kesh. Happy day. Sacred way. Choose the sacred way.